A Pokemon's move pool can make or break its competitive viability, with the best Pokemon typically having access to great moves that make them viable, and the reverse being true for the worst Pokemon. There are of course exceptions to this, and I've talked about the best Pokemon with bad move pools and the worst Pokemon with great move pools. So in this video, let's talk about the best Pokemon with too good of move pools, meaning that they suffer from success of learning too many good moves that it feels like a waste by not using some of them. Specifically, I'll mostly be looking at Pokemon that have incredibly wide coverage options, but tend to have a pretty set move pool of a few good stab moves, protect, and maybe a setup move. First, we have Ursaluna. With the highest attack stat of any normal type with Guts, an ability that boosts attack when inflicted with a non-volatile status condition, Ursaluna is the best user of Facade, a move that doubles in power when the user is poisoned, burned, or paralyzed. As a ground type, it has access to all the good ground moves, and it will usually pick any two from the options of Headlong Rush, High Horsepower, Stomping Tantrum, and Earthquake. Protect is not just an essential for doubles in general, but it allows Ursaluna to stall for a turn to allow Flame Orb to burn it, activating Guts. So, that's all of Ursaluna's move slots taken up, which is a shame because it has insanely good coverage options. The most notable ones are Close Combat, Drain Punch, Crunch, Shadow Claw, Avalanche, Supercell Slam, the Elemental Punches, Gunk Shot, Play Rough, Heavy Slam, Seed Bomb, and Stone Edge. None of these are really worth using though, because the combination of a 140 base power stab normal move and a 120 base power stab ground move is really all you need, since ground complements normal really well, hitting the two types that resist it for super effective, while hitting the type that is immune to it for neutral. Next, we have Terapagos. As the Pokemon meant to showcase the Stellar Terra type, Terapagos was given an exceptionally good signature move, Terra Starstorm. This move starts out as a single target special normal type move, but when terastallized, it turns into a spread damaging stellar move that can be either physical or special depending on which stat of Terapagos is higher. You'd really only want to go special though, since Terapagos has higher special attack and has multiple ways of setting up its special attack with Calm Mind and Power Herb Meteor Beam, while it doesn't really have anything for physical. Speaking of which, either one of those will take up its next move slot, with Earth Power being its go-to coverage move. Ground is just so good offensively in general, but if Terapagos hasn't used its Terra, or it was already used on an ally, Terra Starstorm will stay normal type, making Earth Power great for the same reason that I mentioned in the previous entry with Ursaluna. Protect is an essential for doubles, which means it has no room for its other coverage options of Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, Aura Sphere, Dark Pulse, Bug Buzz, Energy Ball, Dragon Pulse, Flash Cannon, Power Gem, and Surf. When you have a 120 base power stab move that hits every type for neutral, there's no need for coverage, so spamming Terra Starstorm is usually the best way to use Terapagos. Next, we have Annihilape. A lot of Gen 1 Pokemon were given wide move pools, so as the evolution to one that gains another type, Annihilape's move pool is quite good. It was given the signature move Rage Fist, which is a staple on its attacking movesets because it gets ridiculously powerful after getting hit a few times. Bulk Up is its main setup move, which is good because it makes Annihilape hit harder and allows it to tank more hits to charge up Rage Fist easier. Drain Punch and Close Combat are its best fighting stab moves, with Drain Punch being good to heal back any lost HP, and Close Combat being good for all-out damage. The last slot is usually for Protect, since you just gotta have it in doubles, which means that Annihilape doesn't use Earthquake, Stone Edge, Poison Jab, Seed Bomb, U-Turn, Throat Chop, or the Elemental Punches. Ghost and Fighting just work so well together, even better than Ursaluna's normal and ground, with Fighting hitting two of the types that resist or are immune to Ghost for super effective, and Ghost also hitting two of the types that resist or are immune to Fighting for super effective. When at max power, Rage Fist just hits so insanely hard that there's really no reason to even bother with coverage moves. Most Final Gambit sets do use coverage, but you're basically just clicking Final Gambit 90% of the time and maybe clicking a different move in that 10% of the time when you're up against a ghost type and can't comfortably use Final Gambit. Next, we have Urshifu. Both forms of Urshifu have a pretty standard move pool that they run due to them having a signature move, stab priority, close combat, and good utility moves that need to be contact so that they take advantage of Unseen Fist. For Urshifu's single strike, it usually uses Wicked Blow, Sucker Punch, Close Combat, and either Detect or U-turn for its last move. For Urshifu Rapid Strike, it usually uses Surging Strikes, Aqua Jet, and then the same other moves. The two forms have slightly different move pools, but they both get the Elemental Punches, Acrobatics, Trailblaze, Poison Jab, Zen Headbutt, Stone Edge, and Iron Head. There's really no reason for them to use coverage when close combat and their signature moves are just so good, with priority, a protection move, and a pivoting move generally being valued over it. While Fire, Ice, and Flying are all good types for Urshifu Rapid to be able to hit Amoonguss for super effective, the 75 base power Elemental Punches and 55 base power Acrobatics that can be doubled if it doesn't have an item is a little too inconsistent for Urshifu. Urshifu Rapid in particular really doesn't care about coverage because its water moves can get boosted by rain, and if it's holding a Mystic Water, a resisted Surging Strikes will do more damage than a super effective Elemental Punch. Next, we have Gallade. It was really only when Gallade got buffed in Gen 9 by getting access to Sharpness that I'd say it started having this issue. As a fighting Psychic type, Sacred Sword and Psycho Cut are perfect for it as they are Stab and Sharpness boosted. It's often used as a Trick Room setter with Wide Guard for support, which is already all 4 moves. It misses out on using the slicing moves Aerial Ace, Aqua Cutter, Night Slash, Solar Blade, and X Scissor, as well as the non-slicing moves Knockoff, Shadow Claw, Earthquake, Triple Axle, Poison Jab, Stone Edge, and Shadow Sneak. It also has the setup moves Swords Dance, Agility, and Bulk Up, and the support moves Coaching, Taunt, Encore, Will-O-Wisp, and Helping Hand. It's a shame that Gallade doesn't have as good of stats, because if it just had slightly more HP in defense and slightly less speed, it would probably be able to take advantage of more of these moves and be a more deadly threat in Trick Room. Its Mega gets enough speed that it can be used on a fast set more consistently, but it loses sharpness and gains inner focus instead, which would be a lot better if it was the other way around, with the base form getting inner focus and the Mega getting sharpness. Either way, it has plenty of moves, slicing or not slicing, that it doesn't use because Sacred Sword and Psycho Cut are just so good. Next, we have Mega Rayquaza. Rayquaza and Mega Rayquaza obviously have the same move pool, but the issue of suffering from success really only applies to Mega Rayquaza for 2 main reasons. It has 180 attack and special attack, making it able to comfortably use physical and or special moves. It has to use Dragon Ascent because that's how it Mega Evolves, and while it's generally a great move to use since it's just flying type close combat, it keeps it from being able to go full special, which it might want to do if it could. When it goes full physical, it will usually use Extreme Speed and a setup move like Swords Dance or Dragon Dance to really make sure that it outspeeds and one-shots its opponents. If it doesn't use Protect, then it only has room for 1 more move, which would either be a special dragon move like Dragon Pulse or Draco Meteor, or a coverage move. Going off of its Ultra Sun and Moon Learn set, since that was the last time it was legal in VGC, its best physical and special options include Thunderbolt, Overheat, Energy Ball, Ice Beam, Surf, Earthquake, Shadow Claw, Stone Edge, Crunch, Waterfall, and Earth Power. In singles, it also had access to the event move V-Create, which essentially functioned as a third stab because of its ridiculously high 180 base power. Next, we have Tyranitar. While not nearly at the level of Mega Rayquaza, Tyranitar is a pseudo-legendary with high stats all around, which allows it to somewhat comfortably go mixed if it really wanted to. When it goes full physical, it will usually use Knockoff and Rock Slide for stab, with Low Kick and Terra Blast for coverage, usually flying since that works out well offensively and defensively. Defensively, it gets rid of its fighting and ground weaknesses, and offensively, it gives it super effective coverage into fighting, a type that resists both rock and dark. Low kick allows it to hit the opposing dark types that resist dark and steel types that resist rock. The main physical moves that it misses out on by going with this moveset are the elemental punches, body press, earthquake, and iron head, and the main special moves it misses out on are thunderbolt, flamethrower, earth power, ice beam, and muddy water. It also has some good setup options of curse, dragon dance, and iron defense, with curse being good if you want to get slower to work better in trick room, dragon dance being good if you're using a fast Tyranitar, and iron defense being good for increasing the damage from body press. With Terra Flying Terra Blast working out really well offensively and defensively, and Tyranitar having one of the strongest rock slides and knockoffs, most of its coverage options are generally not worth it. Lastly, we have Arceus. I'm specifically talking about the normal type extreme killer variant Arceus, but even its other forms suffer from success to an extent. This set uses extreme speed of course, and usually likes to set up with Swords Dance and use Shadow Claw for coverage to hit the ghost types for super effective that are immune to normal. Its fourth move is really just format dependent, and while I have mainly just been talking about doubles so far, I will consider singles since Arceus has only ever been legal in one VGC format, which was Reg J. In doubles, Protect is its clear fourth move, but in singles, Taunt and Earthquake are common, with Taunt being good to shut down opposing recovery and setup, and Earthquake hitting your ally not being a problem in singles, so it's just another great coverage move to hit the steel and rock types that resist extreme speed. It's another Pokemon that can comfortably go physical or special, and the physical moves it misses out on are Body Press, Wild Charge, Flare Blitz, Poison Jab, Zen Headbutt, Iron Head, and Liquidation, with the most notable special moves being Bug Buzz, Dark Pulse, Thunderbolt, Dazzling Gleam, Aura Sphere, Flamethrower, Shadow Ball, Energy Ball, Earth Power, Ice Beam, Sludge Bomb, and Power Gem. It gets even more setup moves of Dragon Dance, Bulk Up, Calm Mind, and Cosmic Power. With all the moves you'll ever want, all the stats you'll ever want, and ability to be any type in the game, a limit of 4 moves will always make Arceus feel like it's missing out on something. And those are Pokemon that suffer from success because they learn too many good moves. Let me know if you disagree with any of my reasonings or feel that I missed any. Anyway, if you want to support me and my channel, just leave a nice comment since I do read all comments. You can also become a member for 99 US cents a month to get a badge next to your name and early video access like all of these lovely people. If you want bonus content, check out my second channel, Extra Bell, where I post videos I've scrapped for the main channel as well as more casual, unscripted videos. Likes are also one of the ways that YouTube determines if a video should be passed around to more people, so if you feel that this video deserves to be, I would appreciate it. Thanks for watching.